We all know cheating in Warzone is out of hand, but Westy, a massive content creator in the space, has deemed that Warzone is actually dying because of cheaters. So let's find out why together. The title of his video is literally called Warzone is Dying Because of Cheaters. And of course, we're going to like it, and we are already subscribed. Now, let's go ahead and dive in.
I think it's become immediately obvious to just about anybody playing Warzone right now how bad the cheater situation has become, and is still becoming.
Real quick, he says every clip in this video features cheaters. Yes, it's really that bad. Now, off the rip, I'm going to say personally, I don't feel like I run into cheaters every single game, but I do feel like the cheating situation has gotten progressively worse and worse until we are where we are now. I actually think that back in the day, cheating in Verdansk may have not been as bad as it is now. And when I say that, I mean by numbers. I think the number of cheaters in the game now is actually much higher than it was in Verdansk, by ratio, basically. And the reason I say that is because people in Verdansk didn't care. They just rage hacked. But now, a ton of people are cheating and they're hiding it. Either way, let's dive in.
Every single time I fire up the game, I get into matches, there's cheaters in there ruining them. It doesn't matter who I play with, whether it's my friends or other streamers that I get together with on a regular basis, we are subjected to just round after round of cheaters, who at this point clearly aren't even slightly put off.
Now, it could be because of the mode that he's in. I know that in solos, you don't see that as much. In duos, trios, quads, I see that a lot more, that you're running into cheaters. But again, personally, I'm not running into it all the time, at least in solos, or at least from what I can tell.
By Warzone's quote-unquote anti-cheat, called Ricochet. We're reaching levels that I've not seen since the Verdansk days, where there wasn't actually an anti-cheat at all, with players openly displaying their wall hacks and aimbots, there's people tracking through solid cover without live pings, and they just seem to have your player location information available at all times. Yep. I played 4 hours continuously the other day. I played 13 matches in total, and in every single match, there was a cheater. Now, cool.
And this right here is what I've run into, is a guy running a sniper rifle that just snap.
Call of Duty has released a few updates on,
and you can see immediately, and I'll show you one more time right here. This is what I'm talking about. We go right here. Watch it the way, and I'm going to see if I can just zoom in to the center of the screen. Oh, sorry. I don't know what I just did. But you can see the way that I zoom into the middle of the screen.
Call of Duty has
he aims in right here. Let me see if I can put it in slow motion. Playback speed 0.25. When he zooms in, it straight locks onto the head, tracks perfectly onto the head, and by that time, obviously, he immediately goes to report. So that tends to be the way that I'm dying to cheaters. That, or people will lock onto me through walls, and it becomes pretty apparent. But I just wanted to give you a heads up. Sometimes I'm sure a lot of people are like, "How do they know I was there? He must be cheating," and you actually have no information that is provided to you that shows that they're cheating. So things like that are pretty apparent. Just make sure that you're not reporting random players, because the issue is Ricochet doesn't work the way that you think it does. And in fact, we'll probably cover that a little bit later in the video.
On the anti-cheat situation recently since the Black Ops 6 integration, and largely they seem to indicate that they're continuing to step up their efforts to combat the cheating situation. Which
is utter crap.
The most recent update, it focused more so on multiplayer ranked play, which in itself has been flooded with cheaters, I'm led to understand, since it launched. And the information released stated that they're ramping up their AI systems to accelerate enforcements. They've banned over 19,000 players via the ranked play playlist. And they've pushed up to hourly sweeps to remove cheaters from ranked play and the league.
Now, here's the weird thing. They've moved up to hourly sweeps, right? But why isn't there a system that is actually just cheating them when they just deleting them when they hop on? I feel like we should have an anti-cheat that is able to do that, right? But if you knew how the anti-cheat worked, you'd be very surprised that it actually gets anybody at all.
Leaderboards. Now, that statement right there might actually be everything that's wrong with Warzone's anti-cheat. It's not proactive. It's being reactive.
Correct.
If you're going to step up your AI systems to accelerate enforcements, that tells me that you're just reacting to the cheating situation.
And did you see the level of this guy, by the way? The level of the guy that he just died to? This guy made it to such a high prestige and got away with it. And he's running a Sidewinder because it's such high damage. And that's what these cheaters will do, is that they'll run very high damage weapons and insta-kill you. It's the weirdest thing that they can make it this far. And again, it's because the system is not proactive, it's reactive.
To the cheating situation. Why would you let people run cheats, these third-party programs, at all while the game client is running? Why aren't you proactively stopping people from running the game when there are known cheat programs running on their system at the same time?
Correct.
That's what an anti-cheat should do.
Yep.
Why are you letting people launch the game, log in, get into actually playing, and then combating them? That just seems like a completely backwards process, don't you think? And then the mention of hourly sweeps. Again, why hourly? Why are you not deploying systems that, when cheaters are detected, instantly kicking them and banning them from the game?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Why are you waiting over an hour to do anything? Surely during that hour, that cheater is going to ruin multiple matches that they enter. Why aren't you deploying something straight away, as soon as you detect it? It just seems completely backwards. The reason that I'm so annoyed about all of this, by the way, is because underneath, Warzone this year could actually be really, really good.
Just to be clear, I absolutely agree with that. I want to say a lot of people have been talking about how people hate the Black Ops integration, but realistically, I think a lot of people are just tired of crappy integrations, like things just not working on repeat. And we saw that exact thing with Warzone 2. We also saw it with Caldera. And during the Caldera times, we also had Rebirth Island. So when people are like, oh, well, Rebirth is actually what keeps the player count high. No, it's actually just a good game. If you have a good game, everything works and people don't even have to go to Resurgence. But nowadays we're having to deal with really bad issues. So it's a whole bunch of things that people don't realize.
The development team worked to remove a lot of the bloat and the unwanted gameplay fluff that was introduced with Modern Warfare 2 and the Warzone 2.0 integration that we had a couple of years ago, and they've actually delivered a platform that should allow Warzone to excel this year. But all of that effort,
if they fix all the bugs that they also introduced whenever Treyarch decided to show their ego by saying they knew what's better,
is being completely ruined by a cheating situation that is so egregious, so blatant, and ridiculously widespread at this point. Go check out this gameplay here. It's a cheater round that we had, and then we spectated it through to the end because, unfortunately, we didn't manage to kill the cheaters. But please watch until the end. It's absolutely mental. Just see how, once again, blatant and carefree cheaters are just running around in this game.
And that's, to be clear, not really the majority. I said this a little bit earlier, but the majority of players actually will hide their cheats. These are the kind of people that run like Cronus's. They'll use certain tools in the DS4 Windows app, and someone keeps mentioning this in my comment section. I'm so sorry. I hear you. I see what you're saying, and I don't know exactly how it works. I'm not going to spend hours and hours to figure it out because I'm not going to utilize it. So there are certain tools that people are able to use, whether that's on console, which actually, believe it or not, probably has more cheaters than PC. I know that sounds crazy, but via devices that are not being picked up by the console itself, they probably have more cheaters because these people believe that everybody on PC is cheating. So you get caught in this crossfire where there's just cheaters everywhere. Most of them are just hiding what they're doing. And it's just a really bad situation altogether.
And then go ahead and share this video however you can. Like the video, sub to the channel, post it on social media, whatever. Just get it out there and broadcast how bad this situation is right now.
The issue with that is that what ends up happening whenever you broadcast things like this on repeat, and don't get me wrong, I'm doing that right now. Obviously, I want people to hear about this, but the issue is Call of Duty probably isn't going to do anything. They've been known to literally never do a single thing about this situation. They constantly just gaslight the absolute out of us whenever it comes to the problems that exist. They pretend like they don't actually exist. And then whenever they're mentioned, it's neither here nor there. It's never going to get patched because it's things that don't affect their bottom line. Even though, in reality, making a good game that doesn't have cheaters would actually make them a ton of money, which is what we saw at the beginning of Warzone 1.
Perhaps with enough noise about the issue, COD might feel compelled to act in a more forceful manner and start policing their game even more stringently.
It's money.
No, you don't want to be so weak. For Frisbee, how many will die?
I'm sorry. Am I watching a... Are we watching 3 minutes of him actually having a conversation about it and the rest is just a reaction to his gameplay? Incredible.
Say that.
Just natural rats.
I don't even mind that. It's like spectating.
Kicking off over here, bro.
It is.
Whoa.
He wasn't even looking at me and started shooting at me. Like, his character model wasn't looking. I don't understand.
That's the desync for you.
Oh, that's insane, man.
I will note, if you look at the bottom left, you can see he's playing with Tactical Brit. So obviously these guys are friends, which is funny enough who I love to go to for information and stuff
Push
like
your
that.
on towards you, Lucky.
Yeah, there's multiple men on you, Lucky. No. There's something quite right.
Listening to him react to these guys is actually hilarious.
You can back up towards me. And Jay's dropping on the guy.
Jay's
that I just
crazy.
marked.
That guy's got aimbot.
Yeah, I thought one of them did. Something went right.
And,
I don't get it.
bro.
What happened between this time and the first 3 games?
We won 2 matches.
Yeah, so what he just said right there was we won 2 matches, right? And here's how kind of the cheating situation works right now. You have players that drop in and their first few games are against lower skill players, okay? These are the brand new accounts that cheaters will make. Now you'll see a lot of that, which means the players like that are in the lower brackets of skill are actually running into a crap load of cheaters. And skill-based matchmaking is just all around not good because it literally just messes with the mindset of people and it makes you not realize how things are working. And most people don't know the ins and outs of how skill-based matchmaking work or the matchmaking system in general works. Is it's not actually based on skill. It's not based on this, that, or the other thing. It's all a bunch of things that add together to keep you retained to the game, right? So the first game that a cheater hops on their first account is going to be them playing against not so great players. And it's nothing against those players. It's just, they're probably not that great. So a ton of cheaters are going to be in those lobbies. And these are usually the cheaters that are just spamming headshots and just going around spin botting and doing wild things. However, the people that make it into lobbies like this with very good players, the higher tier players, these are people that have either hit it for a long time or are using things that are completely undetectable by the Ricochet anti-cheat. So what he's saying is that they won 2 games and the matchmaking system is now trying to give them tougher lobbies so that they are, quote, retained longer, which doesn't really work the way that Call of Duty thinks it is. It just keeps them out of the lobbies of the lower skilled players that don't want to play against the players that are doing well and are having a good time right now. So they're just running into cheaters more and more. But these cheaters are going to be hiding it. And whenever they like start snapping on, it's going to be noticed by the higher skilled players a little bit more because even though they're hiding it, it's easier for people that know the game, know how people actually react, have seen it a billion times to realize that someone is cheating by the most minuscule things.
We won 2 matches in a row and the game said, yeah, they're probably dodgy.
I'm beginning to think that the actual anti-cheat's not working on Warzone at all.
It isn't.
It isn't.
Shadowban.
It absolutely isn't.
The thing is I actually have that open now. I have it open to make sure that I'm not shadow banned like all the time.
Yeah.
We would get less if we were controller only, but we'd still get like people 100%.
Player dropping in.
Again, I'm going to hop in just a minute and I'm going to tell you how the anti-cheat works, probably whenever we start spectating the actual cheaters. Just a quick heads up, because the anti-cheat does not work the way that Call of Duty tells everybody that it works, and it's actually absurd that they get away with what they get away with.
Oh my god, he's gone.
Yeah, he's just gone.
Holy shit, dude. Pick me up, pick me up, pick me up.
The guy's snapping back and forth from
He was
J
so
to
aim locked onto
Westy.
me that he didn't even get
The guy landed on you.
But then he locked onto me, Lucky, as soon as... Now he's on the roof.
Yeah, I tried to land up on it, but I don't want to get a different angle. He's down below.
Really?
Yeah, he's under me right now.
Pushing.
What?
I don't even know what that molly was, to be quite honest. I don't know what
Bro,
the...
they are not even hiding it.
No.
It's obviously just to
I don't
block off
think
the
that
stairs so
guy's
they
one
can't
as cheated
push.
as the other
but-
guys.
No, that guy definitely, that geezer you definitely just got. The only reason he didn't get you, Jaff, is because he was reloading.
This is so bad now. Like, honestly, you can't even go half a game without seeing cheaters.
And again, this is very mode specific. You're going to see a lot more of this in duos, trios, quads, less of it in Resurgence. For some reason, these cheaters really get off on the idea of getting a BR win. It does happen in Resurgence, but it's much less often that it happens in Resurgence. I am not saying that it doesn't happen. I want to be very clear. A lot of you are still going to run into a lot of cheaters in Resurgence. However, ratio-wise, BR has a ton more cheaters that are just going absurd.
Lead one.
I think it's because it's more of an achievement to get a win on here.
Yeah, I mean,
and they're
it was
losers.
a silly play for me. I didn't realize they were both up there.
He's only got $1,600. There's no
He's
play.
pre-aiming me through like floorboards. Like,
Yeah.
I get that I'm making sound, but that's just, yeah, that's not true. He's literally pre-aiming my head. Battlefield, make it BR, man.
Battlefield, please. I was literally saying that between the last 2 games, Jeff. I was like, Battlefield's time is now. Come along, show us what should be happening.
Dude, he literally dropped down a portable radar at the exact moment that a counter UAV went up.
They could actually release a half finished product on it. Probably, it would cause Call of Duty a lot of issues.
It would.
Because the things that Call of Duty get, the things that Battlefield get right, Call of Duty struggle with.
Yep. There's a guy up on the top of this roof.
Yeah,
I
it's
think.
last guy up there, isn't it? Last guy.
Oh, I hit him.
Oh, what a molly! That was actually really
easy kill.
incredible.
We just asked like a genuine question. It probably, you know, I'm just gonna say it on stream because it'll be nice to have
you
your.
just killed.
Welcome to China.
I'd like your chat's input on this. I wanted to know is like, do people in chat, including like Westy's chat as well, Jay's, Lackeys, do you guys experience this bloody cheese that we experience on stream, or is it just us?
Is it just us? Is it this bad? Like,
Again, the average player, I will say, the average player is going to think that they're running into a crap load of cheaters. I'm not saying they're not. There are going to be quite a few cheaters that show up in lobbies, but people think that there are 50% cheaters in every lobby. And I want to be very clear. That is in no case real. I know that there's a lot of people that say it's 50%. It's 50% because it's 50% in like other games. But realistically, there's so many factors that just aren't accounted for, and people are assuming that someone is cheating, but the issue is you can't prove absolutely anything. Kill cams and spectating make no sense, so there's very few times you can actually prove that someone is or is not cheating. So it makes no sense to assume that that number is so high, but I do think there's a lot of cheaters. I think there's a lot of cheaters. I think you're going to run into these cheaters, and the people that run into the cheaters are going to run into them because those people are going freaking crazy in most scenarios. They're just pop, 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 pop. And the more that they're running around and more that you're running around, the more likely you are to run into them. That's just, I mean, that's the same reason that I run into a lot of good players while I'm playing, is because the people that are bad players are camping in a corner. They're hiding it out. But I am running around. That makes me a target, and that means that I get shot by the master prestiges every time I play. Every single time I play.
take
This is
the actual
first day I've run
experience.
into cheaters.
Like, we had 2 games. I had 2 games at the start of the stream that we won both, and then ever since then, cheater, 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 cheater.
Well, it's like I say, it's because we play mixed input.
Yeah, but my point is,
biggest
no, but
problem.
that's my point. Like, we're asking other people, do they experience the same thing?
I'm just like, I'm listening to everything that they're saying, and they're just coming up with reasons as to why there are or aren't cheaters. And I find it interesting that he said it's because we're playing mixed input. I will say, when it comes to the matchmaking system, input is actually something that is considered. Now, the reason that you will see less cheaters if you're on console, this is going to blow your mind. The reason you're going to see less cheaters on console, at least like crazy aimbot, wild cheats, is because cheats are harder to set up on controller than they are on mouse and keyboard. Now, I'm not saying they don't exist, and they are relatively easy to set up, I'm sure, but comparatively, pressing, like, I've got 1 billion buttons on this thing, right? I can set it all up to keybinds. I got buttons on the side of my mouse. I don't know if you can see that, but there's 2 buttons on the side of my mouse. I want to toggle something, I'm just going to click 1 button, right? If I'm on mouse and keyboard. And so because input is an option for how the matchmaking system decides who you're going to get thrown into, my guess is what they're saying here is with mixed input, you've got controller and mouse and keyboard. So the mouse and keyboard players are going to push towards more mouse and keyboard players. And those players are more likely to be cheating because, or at least like wild cheating, because they're the ones that are just toggling. like toggling on, clicking like easy buttons and stuff like that. So you're probably going to be seeing more like hardcore, like PC wild cheaters if you have a mouse and keyboard. I mean, I guess that makes sense. I don't know how true it is. There's no way to validate these claims, but it is an interesting thought.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to get. Trying to get a little.
And I'll note, Westy is one person that is on mouse and keyboard. You can see it right now in the bottom right corner.
Is that actually a thing?
A
Like
lot of them are probably 100%. If you play,
Yeah, it is, but they deny it. They deny it exists. When we play with Stud and Westy, it's like the lobbies are so much different, and I watch like other people's streams, and it's just different.
Full four-man here on green.
When
Full
I played,
four-man.
I actually did a video on it, and I recorded like 20 different games with or without mixed input.
I see some people might chat saying like,
It's
just you guys come across a few, but not
20%.
loads.
Going down here.
I love watching sniping on mouse and keyboard. It is just so addicting. And I know why people loved watching me on mouse and keyboard is because when you have throwing knives and you have snipers, it's just, oh, it looks so sexual.
I mean, I remember Geeky was like, no, there aren't that many cheaters. And then he tried with a keyboard and mouse, and he's like, Jesus Christ.
It's awful, man.
Yeah, the difference between controller and mouse and keyboard, I guess, has to be pretty huge. But I mean, you know what? I'm thinking about it now. That does make sense because when I was on mouse and keyboard, I feel like every single game was 10 times harder. But when I was on controller, now it feels like I'm playing in... Don't get me wrong. They're still difficult to an extent. Like I run into the good players in lobbies, but it's less likely that I'm running into as many ridiculously good players.
It's so bad. Actually ridiculous how bad it is. Okay, we're split up again.
Yeah, we need to move center zone. Lucky, Westy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
back.
Jay's dead. And
Guys.
Same guys from earlier.
Got the guys dropping in
dead.
from down there. Lucky, I think I can drop on you.
oh, nope. Cheater. That's the cheater from earlier.
whoa.
Oh,
The
Yeah.
cheers from
yeah.
before. It's literally the cheers from before.
Yeah.
Literally the cheers.
Yeah.
Nah, he's literally got magnetic bullets, by the way. If you watch my kill cam there, like go back and watch it.
Magnetic bullets are when a player comes out into the like field of view, and or not even realistically. Magnetic bullets, the cheater can just shoot in any direction, and the bullets will just hit the nearest target. Right? Like that's basically what it is. You don't even actually have to aim at the player. You don't have to aimbot. You don't have to lock onto that player. You just shoot and it hits.
Yeah, guy has actual magnetic bullets. Like he's loaded up his PlayStation midstream.
Well, it's either that or just like solos or something, dude, because this is basically unplayable.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy though, because you literally see the second he comes into sight, it just snaps up to the head.
It's crazy. This is absolutely mental. Like, this is literally as bad as like Verdansk when there was no anti-cheat, because they're just not even trying to hide it anymore. They don't fear being caught.
Not even spectating this team. I've got it.
You know, it's kind of funny. I think it's actually a little different. The cheaters now are really trying their asses off for wins, right? This is gonna be a very weird thing to say, but the cheaters now are different than the cheaters we had in Verdansk. The cheaters in Verdansk were, for lack of a better term, kind of fun, right? And I'm not saying it didn't cause like distress and issues and stuff like that, but the cheaters in Verdansk would literally just come in and like even like stream snipe streamers and then like respond to the streamers and do funny things and stuff like that. They literally tried, and I'm not saying this makes it okay in the slide. It does not. In the slide, I want to be very clear. I don't care who you are. If you're cheating, you're literally a piece of garbage. You deserve to go to prison for stealing people's time. It's the same as stealing people's items. Like I think that you should consider how much time the person has lost from the person cheating, and the amount of hours that person is stolen from so many people should be piled up, and it should be done as how much this is worth per hour, just like it is for a misdemeanor or a felony. If you steal this amount of time, it's worth this amount in dollars. And then if you reach a certain amount, you hit a felony, you go to prison. I think that would be an incredible way to change the way that cheating works, but I don't know how that works with the laws and stuff like that. That was just a random thought right there, actually. But I think the cheaters back in Verdansk were actually like relatively fun. I think they did like kind of goofy things, and they like try and go do wild stuff. Like they'd fly around in cars and pick up random people. Like it didn't even have to be like streamers. I want to be very clear. Like I never got picked up by a car, but I saw a lot of clips of like literally people on Reddit, regular dudes that would hop in. Their lobbies were absolute bot lobbies. I want to be very clear. They would hop in and they'd hop in like cars and boats and stuff and just fly around with these cheaters. And they do like goofy stuff and they like talk and like have conversations. Now, the people cheating in the game, they're trying their ass off to get the win. Like, it's so different because of the mindset, right? And I this is very, very important. The mindset now is that everybody cheats. That's what people think. The more that everybody thinks that everybody cheats, you know what happens? More cheaters. It's a big fat cycle. This is why I think the hacker hunters are the worst thing to possibly happen, because they sit there and they tell everybody that everybody's cheating. They say all the streamers are cheating. Everybody that's streaming is cheating. When in reality, that's not the case. And in fact, most people have not been caught with absolutely anything that is actual evidence or someone showing that this is on someone's PC or this is cheese or something like that. In fact, there's so many content creators that have proven their innocence a billion times, and still these hacker hunters will push a narrative because it makes them a crap load of money. Because if you can talk a bunch of people into believing something, then you can make a ton of money. So now you've got a bunch of people that believe everybody cheats, right? Everybody's got cheats. Why don't I get cheats? Because that's the only way I'm going to win. It's the only way I'm going to have fun is if I'm cheating. And it's just this big fat cycle of smaller fish getting eaten by a bigger fish, getting eaten by a bigger fish, getting eaten by a bigger fish, getting eaten by a bigger fish over and over and over. And people are like, that guy's cheating, so I'm going to cheat. That guy's cheating, I'm going to cheat. That guy's cheating, I'm going to cheat. When realistically, it probably started with one dude not actually cheating. Like that's the reality of it. And it sucks so bad. And it's very confusing for most people because they can't see the reality of a situation. People like have a perspective right here when if they just like widen their view and thought just a step above, they'd realize what's actually going on. But realistically, right now, I'm even talking to a bunch of people that are going to say that I'm a cheater. I'm going to get comments down below saying, haha, cheater telling people that they shouldn't cheat. Like, I get comments like that all the time. And the reason why is because people literally have the IQ of a potato. And I know I sound a little hateful when I say that, but the average IQ in the United States of America is below 100. It's below 100. And I don't know what it is, but people just don't have critical thinking skills. They don't have thinking skills whatsoever. They don't know how to problem solve. They don't know how to like realize what's going on in real life. And they just like accept, I've heard this. This must be right. It's just such a weird world now.
Entirely different team.
Yeah, I got Huawei. Have you got them?
I've got the cheater team. What was the guy's name?
No, all of them.
It's all of them.
It's
All of
Vigeria.
them. Ricardo, Dizon, or whatever his name was. These nuts or whatever, I don't know.
Die.
This is the guy right here.
Oh my god, I'm spectating another cheater.
By the way, notice that all of these guys have been cheating for a long time. This guy, sorry, hiccup. This guy right here is literally an iridescent in ranked play. Like these guys are working their way up in ranked and getting away with it. It's so absurd.
Yeah, that guy's cheating.
He's shooting through the wall because he's looking at the target through the wall.
Oh my god,
Which one?
this is so
What's his
blatant.
name? What's his
A
name?
guy called ABC who was hacking his tits off.
Oh
That guy just
god.
disappeared.
This Die
Yeah, he's just
QED
disappeared.
guy he's cheating as well. He's just
I'm
looking.
expecting a whole
What
different
is
team.
this, bro?
Yeah, he's using the RAL as well.
He's just killed, some guys just killed them who's probably also cheating.
Oh brother.
Yeah, shooting through the wall, by the way.
I'm watching a guy called
Oh, I flew through the
Kiro.
car.
Called Kiro.
It's like literally cheater versus cheater versus cheater. Okay, real quick. I said I was going to mention it. I said I was going to talk about it, but let me explain to you how the actual anti-cheat works, because they've just been lying for a long time, and it's actually insane. So they kind of, hint at it a little bit here and there, but realistically, what's going on with the anti-cheat is that Call of Duty has created this thing that is machine learning, but it's really not. The only machine learning that the Ricochet anti-cheat has is to listen to players and know what words are what. They have learned what words are bad and what is a inappropriate phrase, and it will chat ban people. That is the AI. That's it. That's what they got. If they tell me otherwise, there's literally no way to believe it. Okay? There's no way. Now, what they've also done is they have certain detected softwares, things that are bad. Sometimes, like, they can detect things like Cronus. Every once in a while, they'll update and Cronus gets detected. So if you're playing on PS5 or Xbox or PC and you plug in a Cronus and you try and use that to cheat, then it won't work. But then Cronus will send an update and it works, right? Stuff like that happens. Then they have another part of Ricochet where if you open up a software called REWASD, which allows you to use mouse and keyboard and get aim assist because it makes Call of Duty think that you're using a controller. This is what people think that I use all the time because I sit with my hands on my desk while I'm using a controller. People think that I do that. It's not possible. You can't open the game if you have Rewazed open. It's literally not possible in the slightest. So that's another thing. So what they'll do is they'll go through and they'll find certain cheating companies, big ones, and they'll try to block off these cheating companies on the back end. They figure out little threads of code that's in the cheats that'll allow the game, the Ricochet anti-cheat, to see that the cheat is being used. And when it recognizes that, the player will get auto-banned, gone, perma-banned. It'll hardware ID ban them or IP ban them. Now, people can get things like spoofers. These spoofers allow these players that have been hardware ID or IP banned to basically get back online. That stuff, it's pretty hard to get past Call of Duty. And these players are going to go to a website that has not been caught by Call of Duty. Now, these websites just won't ever get picked up unless Call of Duty puts that into the back end and they find that little code thread that allows it to get caught. And obviously, this stuff is not exact specifics, but imagine that's basically how it works. This is not exact specifics. It's maybe not a code thread. It's probably a whole bunch of things. But my point is that it has to be already put into the system that these things can be caught. Otherwise, the way that it actually works, it's insane, is that there's a team of people that work at Activision that wait for reports to file in. Reports file in. Call of Duty has a set number of reports for each player. These players, if they get reported a certain number of times, dependent upon your trust score with Call of Duty, the number of things you've purchased from Call of Duty, how long you've played Call of Duty, and a billion other things, like a billion other things. If your trust score is at a certain level, you'll get higher or lower number of reports that it takes for you to get into limited matchmaking, otherwise known as the Shadowban system. When you get Shadowbanned, you can't play against other players unless they are also Shadowbanned, which makes it pretty much impossible to get a lobby of Warzone, because it's not like they're setting up servers like these massive servers for just Shadowban players. You can probably get into a game of Resurgence, maybe, just because there's so few players that are Shadowbanned that are in your area or this, that, or the other thing. But all of it works on reports. These guys that work at Activision, they'll go through, they'll check the footage. If they can't prove that this person was cheating, they get unbanned. Or they don't even check it. That's why so many people that are cheating are literally able to come onto the game after they get shadow banned, which isn't an actual ban. If you hop into another account, it's not technically ban evading or anything like that, because it's not a ban. It's not an infraction. It's not anything. It's other players reporting you that believe you were cheating, which is why the shadow ban system makes no sense, because it does nothing. It does literally nothing. There's nothing about the shadow ban that does absolutely anything, because if the system was going to detect you, it would detect you. Getting reports in does not mean the player is going to be banned. It means they're going to be put into a limited matchmaking state where Call of Duty has these people that come and look at it and they decide, all right, maybe they were, maybe they weren't. That's it. That's it. That's how it works. That's the entire system right now. And it's because, like Westy said at the beginning of this video, that the anti-cheat is not proactive. It is literally a bunch of people that look at accounts. And they tell you that it's AI, machine learning, and stuff like that that is actually figuring out who's cheating, who's not cheating. But realistically, it's actually just detecting things that have already been put in. Because there's a ton of websites that simply aren't detectable right now. There's certain devices that you've probably heard of hacker hunters talking about, like DMA cheats, that aren't detectable right now. Now, a lot of these things I don't know anything about. I refuse to do any research because I feel like, and this is a crazy thing to say, but apparently the more you know about things, the more likely you are to do those things. So if I knew the ins and outs of how like cheating softwares worked, then I would be a cheater. And that's just why I go out of my way to just not look up information on this, which makes me dumber, in my personal opinion. I think it's very stupid that I don't do that, but I can't do it because the more I know and the more I know how it works, people will believe that I'm a cheater. Even though in reality, if you look at my gameplay in any scenario, you can tell for the most part, I'm kind of a dumbass and I make stupid mistakes just like everybody else. But I'm good enough to where I promise, I'm good enough to where if I had cheats, there's literally no way that I would lose a single game. Not one, ever. I spend way too much time getting my gameplays for me to be a cheater. That's what I'll say. Anyway, back to the video.
With 21 kills, dude!
This is so obvious.
He's not...
Can I just say 5 eliminations with cheats is crazy. You suck ass. You suck so much ass that your grandmother had to have been sucking ass when you were conceived, because it just goes down the family lineage. I'm not gonna lie. Like, there is no way that your whole family doesn't suck ass for a living.
Not even try. He's not even gonna hide. He's going full.
And rocking the RAL, shooting through the wall.
These guys.
Hero, bro.
I want to see this guy in his
And it
final
just locks
form,
to the
bro.
left.
Show me some sauce.
Oh, this is
Show me the
so...
sauce.
Ricochet took the worst time to go for a piss break, man.
Wait, I just watched it.
Oh my
Did you
god.
just shoot a guy out of the sky?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just watched that. I just watched that.
Oh, he's gonna peek spine on the.
Oh, man.
He got killed
So
by the
apparently it's
video.
cheater on cheater right now.
Wait.
Here we go. Yeah, straight through the walls. Oh, my God.
Did he just kill another? He just.
Wait, we're on to spectating a new
Oh,
guy.
my God. It's just a full cheater lobby, by the way. It's a full cheater versus cheater lobby.
No, we're not Shadowban, are we? None of us are Shadowban.
No, we're none of us
not,
are
I'm not.
Shadowban. This is just what we
Well,
get
I'm on
put
Ricardo.
into.
Which guy am I watching here?
Like, I'm watching a guy called Pav Cattle.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I forgot to mention that the other thing that Activision does do with the anti-cheat is that they take random screenshots of your system. That is the only other thing. That is what they do, is they take random screenshots. But certain cheats, actually, the ones that are undetectable, they know when that's happening, and they will cut off the cheats for a split second while the screenshot happens so fast that you won't even notice, if you're a cheater, that your cheats turned off for a split second. And it's because these cheats are so advanced and they're not caught by a kernel level anti-cheat, something that is proactive and catches people the second they get on, because it recognizes that something's being messed with in the game's memory. It's super easy for these cheating companies to continue doing this on repeats. It's absurd. But the other thing that it does is screenshots. That's it. Also, it used to, and this is how Bobby Poff got banned, it used to actually just pick up certain words. So if someone sent you a message with a specific word, you could literally get permanently banned. Call of Duty is possibly one of the dumbest companies when it comes to making things that work. I don't know what it is, but, and I want to say, Call of Duty does send me packages, and they sent me a recent package, and as appreciative as I am, I have a hard time being like, damn, let me just promote Call of Duty right now by saying thank you so much for this package. I do appreciate getting a package from Call of Duty. It's cool. It's cool getting packages from Call of Duty, but it's not cool enough to where I'm willing to old Activision. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna $150 worth of stuff doesn't buy me. Let's just say that.
Okay, so you're still watching a team that's probably
kills. I don't think he's.
I think this guy's just a rando. I think he's just pieced. I think he's just pieced that guy from before.
My guy just shoots over a random hill.
Yeah, this Moria guys.
Oh my god, dude, he's good.
And notice on the left-hand side here, the players that left, if you look at the kill feed, were Asian names. And that's because so many people are cheating. And a lot of these guys, with the people that we have right now, Westy and the Tactical Brit, they're from the UK, right? So they're going to be playing against people that are VPNing from China, which is, by the way, what they were talking about whenever they said that they're trying to crack down on VPN abusers. They're just talking about people that are VPNing from China with cheats. That's actually what they were talking about. They weren't talking about gaming VPNs. They were talking about real ass VPNs that put you in a different country. There's a big difference between the two, and you should watch my video from the other day if you want to learn more about it.
He just shot over a random hill. Oh, brother.
Yeah, look at the way this guy's aiming, bro. He's literally slapping onto his head through a wall.
Yeah, same here.
Out of region.
Straight through the wall.
Out of region.
Okay, no.
My guy's firing a DM10 and a RAL through the wall and just like shooting at people.
Is gone, bro. The game is gone.
This is what you're playing at the moment. Like, this is
so goofy, man.
We're going to be destined rank 1 skin. What?
Who am I watching? Who am I watching out of these lot? Oh my god. Oh my god.
They're not even new accounts.
no.
Let me see if I can hit a report on him. I'm not hitting the report on them
They
yet.
don't even know. They're so bad. They don't even know how to get.
Dude, they're cheat. Like, what they're saying right now, he's about to say they're so bad they can't even like get through the building. It's because their cheats are all on and they can't see what's going on, because basically the walls are all messed up because they see all the entities in boxes. Man, it's so crazy. I hope that one day Call of Duty gets it together. I know it's possible. It's absolutely possible. And it comes down to us lining their pockets. But the issue is the people that care, or care to say something that'll make them realize to fix it are not the people that are spending all the money, right? Like the people that are spending the money are the people that, and I'm gonna blow some people's minds here. You watching right now are not the average player. You're not. I don't care what your KD is. You are not the average player. If you watch a YouTube video about Call of Duty, you are not the average player. It's that simple. The average player does not look up YouTube videos. They don't figure out anything about Call of Duty online. They hop on. They decide if they're going to buy a thing based on whether or not they can unlock it fast enough to play with the boys. And then they hop off. That's what they do. So the people lining Call of Duty's pockets are just the average people. You and I don't spend money on Call of Duty. And hear me out. I actually think this is hilarious. Call of Duty sends me COD points with every season. And I use them pretty much every season, or I give them away. I try to give them away because if I give them away, I just disclose to the person that it came from Activision. Because I do have to disclose when Activision gives me things for the sake of how the federal friggin' FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, how that works. But I try my best not to spend money on this game unless I absolutely have to for the sake of content. And that's what I'd recommend to you. Do not spend your money on this game for the life of you. If you can get away with it, that's probably the best thing you can do, is just not spend money on the game. The issue is it's not going to make a huge difference one way or the other, because most of the people spending money on the game are spending money on the game because they feel they have to, because they're spending enough time on the game and they're making enough money in their job that they're like, well, I don't have time to level up this thing. This blueprint looks pretty cool. Let me just buy that out of the store, and then I can hop into the game and use that. That's the average player. And they're going to keep doing it, and it's never going to stop. And there's no way to make it stop. And it's going to keep happening forever. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I've been here long enough to know that during Black Ops 3, there was this thing called the Black Market Blackout, where people were so annoyed that they were doing legal gambling in the game with loot boxes, and the loot boxes were so bad, like you couldn't even actually like buy things from the store. You had to get everything in a loot box. But the loot boxes were so bad that they did this thing called the Black Market Blackout. And what was supposed to happen is that people weren't supposed to buy things in the black market, which was the Call of Duty store. And it failed so miserably, even though there were hundreds of Reddit threads about this back in the day, and hundreds of videos from top creators saying we need to not spend money and stuff like that. It failed miserably because we are not the people that are keeping this game afloat. There are people that do not watch YouTube videos, that are not looking up things on YouTube, that are not doing all this stuff. They are not doing anything. They're just buying things. And it's nothing against them. I want to be very clear. They are the exact people that Call of Duty does skill-based matchmaking and engagement optimized matchmaking and retention hacking for. And it'll continue to happen. There's nothing we can do about it. I'm not telling you this, that, or the other thing. I'm telling you, there is nothing we can do about it. I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news. Every time a content creator says, if you just do this, we can fight back. We can't. I'm so sorry. There's nothing you can do. Either play something else or not. I will continue to make videos on this game. I do still like Warzone. I think it's a great game. I think they do a very good job creating a base game that's good. I think there's a lot of issues with the game, and I will continue to speak up about those issues because I know that a lot of you have these issues, but realistically, don't ever think that there's any way to stop lining their pockets, because it's just going to keep happening, and they're going to find new ways to do it every single year. In fact, the store this year is actually pretty good. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Y'all have a good day. I love you. Goodbye.